Hello viewers. Now in this tutorial I'm going to be doing an advanced level number, and that is Microsoft Excel. Just a number about Excel. Now at my channel here, I've done some numbers of advanced level. The latest one I've just done is advanced level selected database practical number. If you're in advanced level, you can go and check out that number I did 1 month ago. And if you want more numbers about advanced level selected numbers, I also did this one here. It's about Microsoft Excel. I did it 3 months ago. And this one as well about advanced level subsidiary ICT selected number. Now at my channel I'm going to be doing advanced level numbers in at least the next 3 videos, and this is the first video. The first video is going to cover Microsoft Excel, and the second video will cover Access, and the other one will cover Microsoft Word. Keep on subscribing to the channel. Thank you for the views, and this is my 96th video, and can't wait to make the 100th video at my channel. Okay, straight away we go to the number of Microsoft Excel. This is the number right here. I'm having a folder that I renamed YouTube Latest, and if I open this folder, I'm going to approach this number here, Microsoft Excel sample question. Okay, this is the sample question I'm going to be doing, and it's about Microsoft Excel, and it is suitable for advanced level, that is the current senior 6 class 2025. At the end of this video, a learner would have done all the questions from part I up to part XVIII. I'm going to be doing this, and I will upload it at the channel, or you could pause a bit and then take a screenshot. You take a shot rather. If you're doing some practice, you could take a shot like such. Then even here from V to XII, you can take a shot. From XII to the XIV, same, and this as well. Okay, straight away let me do the question. So of course, at any question you're doing, you're supposed to of course create a folder, give it your name, and this is an example of a folder I'm creating so that I do the number, your name, and a personal number if you really have it. Straight away to question 1. Using a suitable software package, load a file employees and answer the question, and answer the following questions. So the folder we are to load is called employees. This one here, it is the folder we're supposed to be loading, renamed employees. It's going to be part of the description of the video, so if you want to really practice the same question, you can go to the description of this very video and download the employees file I will attach there, or if you find challenges downloading it, you can inbox me at the numbers that you saw at the beginning of the video when I displayed my channel. So straight away let me look for the file employees from my database of support folders. So I'm looking for employees, and it is right here. So if I open support files, I'm going to load employees. It is among these files, and the moment I get to see employees, I'm going to just load it to my folder so that I start doing the question there and then. So I'm trying to search for employees, and it is right here. Let me type the entire employees word, then I can search for the file I really want. So there's employees here, and it's an Excel file. Let me just right click at it. Now for learners of advanced level, whenever you're loading a support file, you're supposed to first copy it and then take it to your folder before even opening it and seeing what is inside. You do that because you're avoiding formatting or editing the support file from the support folder as provided. So I'm going to copy employees to my folder, and this is it. Right click and paste the employees. Let me go back to my support files. This is employees right here. Wait for my computer to respond, kind of slow here when I'm trying to copy the employees file. Well, it was employees with S, which is slightly different from the employee on top. So I'm trying to load the employees with S because it's the file I really need. It's the employees with S. So that's what I'm trying to load in my folder. Seems my computer is kind of slow, but again it's going to pick up, it's going to pick up, it's going to pick up. Okay. Yep. Okay, this is my folder employees I'm trying to load, and I was picking it from this folder here, and I said it's going to be part of the description of the video, so that whenever you're also doing practice you can easily get it in the description, or if you can't, you can just inbox the numbers you saw at the beginning of the video, and yes, you can find the employees file tossed to you. So I paste employees in my folder, and there we are. I already have the employees file, the file I'm going to use for the questions below. Now I'm done with this one. I've just loaded it to my folder, and I'm going to part I. So before I go to part I can open employees, and then I see what is really inside the employees folder. Let me close this. Yes, then okay. Then I see what is really inside the employees file. Okay, this is the employees file, and straight away let me go to this first question here. It is add a column for employees age and fill it with figures of your choice. So they want me to add a column of employees age, and then I fill in figures of my choice. So I'm going to add employee age, and then anyway, let me type it in the same case. It was capital first, and then I can type the age like this. I can just increase the size of this, then I give people different ages or different years. This one is 23, this one is 50, this one is 54, this one is 54 as well, this one is 65, this one 25, this one 22, this one is 19, this one is 50, this one is 41. So just giving them the ages of my choice, because in the question it is what it is, it's what is suggested, that add a column of employees age and fill it with figures of your choice. So I've done that, and I'm going to the next one. It's ensure that employee ID column and contact column values contain a 0 at the beginning. So I'm going to put a 0 at the beginning of employee ID and a 0 at the beginning of contact. So I'm going to just identify my work. I put a 0 at the beginning of all values under employee ID, and then at the beginning of contacts. So I'm going to highlight the values here at employee ID, and then I right click at what I've highlighted. I select format, then I click at custom here, and then I remove the general words, and then while looking at the sample, I want to put a 0. If the sample changes, I just click OK, and the zeros are going to be applied at employee code. Same applies to phone number. I'm going to just highlight phone number, then I right click at what I've highlighted, then I select format cells, then I click at custom, after which I remove the general word. I add zeros while looking at the sample up here. If the sample changes, I just confirm by clicking OK. So those are the zeros at employee ID, actually at employee code and telephone contact. So that is it as a second question. Next, sort the department column alphabetically and extract subtotals for each department's basic salary. So they want me to sort department column alphabetically. So of course department column is this, and they want me to sort it alphabetically, and then after sorting it alphabetically I extract subtotals for each department's basic salary. Whenever we are sorting in Excel, we mind about the other content. For example, if I sort Keith under accounting, I should mind that Keith is still having the information of, for example, 25 years, 700,000 and the phone number. Most of us sort, and then the moment you sort, the data of an individual could change because the sorting you've done is wrong. It's sorting someone's department maybe, but again disorganizing the rest of the work. So whenever you're sorting, mind about the rest of the content and it should not change. So I'm going to sort the department in alphabetical order so that of course the other content may not change. For example, the accounting here, the first person under accounting is having 725 years. Another person under accounting is 646 with 54 years. So that should not change after sorting, and the rest of the people. So how do we sort correctly? We just highlight what we want to sort. For example, we want to sort we want to sort department. So I want to highlight department. Of course, I highlight content under department. I don't highlight the label because if I highlight the label, I could end up sorting the label as well. So I'm going to just highlight the departments under the label, of course. So after highlighting, I'm going to go to sort and filter. Then after going to sort and filter, I'm going to select custom sort. After selecting custom sort, I'm going to click at continue with the current selection, and then I click sort. Now if I continue with the current selection, like I said, the content of the people should not change after you sorting. You're supposed to sort so that the individual's content moves along with what you've sorted. I've just given an example of Keith. Keith is 25 years and earning 700,000. So that information should remain at Keith after sorting. And also Ham is under accounting with a 646 and 54 years. So if I'm sorting, I should mind the information being stuck at a person. So here at sort by, I can select department, then I can click OK. I see whether the information is really right. Now this kind of sorting, let me check whether it's right. Remember, Keith was 725 years, and then you see information is now changing. It is supposed to be accounting, not Beth. So the kind of sorting is not right. It's better we change the sorting slightly by going back to custom sort, and I can click at expand the current selection instead of clicking at continue with the current selection. So I'm going to expand so that the content does not change. So if I expand, my computer is going to enable me sort by only departments, and all other columns are not affected. So I'm going to click OK, and then I see whether my sorting is right. Now I'm right because Keith is accounting and the years are 25, 700,000, and Ham is also accounting and the information is really stuck at him. Now that is the right way of sorting, and then next I'm going to go to extracting subtotals for each department's basic salary. A subtotal is just an addition of a group of rows. For example, I can decide to add all accounting basic salaries. I can decide to add all finance basic salaries. I can decide to add all human resource basic salaries, etc, etc. So a subtotal is going to add almost all the groups. It's going to get a group per group, and then it's going to add their totals. It's going to add totals based on groups. I've given you an example of I can add totals of accounting, totals of finance, totals of human resource, etc, etc. So it's a subtotal that's going to do that. So if I want to extract subtotals, now here I've not been asked to take my work to another sheet, but it's always better to take your work to another sheet whenever you're extracting subtotals, because your work gets kind of changed, which may confuse you if you're a basic user of Excel. But according to the question, I've not been told to take my work to another sheet. I'm just being told to sort departments alphabetically and extract subtotals for each department's basic salary. So if I want to extract subtotals of departments, I'm going to click at employee code. Then I just look for subtotals under data. Under data, I can look for subtotals. Subtotals really here. And after clicking at subtotals, I'm going to get the dialog box. I just make a few changes here, and then I run my subtotal. Here it is. At each category change in, I want to change in department. I want to add departments. So I'm going to change in departments. Then I want to add, of course, that is sum, and then add subtotal 2. Of course, I want to add their basic salary, not employee age. Like I said, I'm going to change in departments. I'm going to add based on departments, and that is sum, and then I take basic salary. It's what I'm going to base on to add. Then I can put a page break between groups. Then I click OK. I see what happens at my computer. Now this happens where people are being, of course, grouped according to their departments. This one is accounting, and accounting is here. The answer, the sum of both accounting basic salaries is here. This is finance, the sum of all finance basic salaries is here. This is human resource, the sum of all human resources here. This is management, the sum of all management is here. And this is transportation, the sum of all basic salaries of transportation is here. And this is grand total that covers all the sums of all departments. I can really put, of course, a color here to identify the levels of departments. I can click at this, I hold Control, then click at this, click at this, click at this, click at this, and then I give them, of course, some color to kind of identify what I've added. So I can give them something like this, a color, to show that there are different subtotals according to departments. Now that is how we do a subtotal, and I said if you're a beginner with Excel, it's better you copy your work to another sheet and you do a subtotal from that other sheet. But if you've been doing some Excel, you can move along with me and then we'll do this together. Now that is it with subtotals, and it's taking me to the next question of IV. If employees pay NSSF, National Social Security Fund, and pay as you earn, which is 3% and 4% of the basic salary respectively, introduce a column for NSSF and pay to determine their values. So they want me to do NSSF and pay as you earn. Of course, NSSF is 3%, pay as you earn is 4% of basic salary. So I'm going to just go to my work and then I add the two labels. The first one is NSSF, and then the next is pay as you earn. These are kind of taxes that are subjected to employees in Uganda, and according to my work here, I'm going to do NSSF, which is 3% of basic salary, and pay is 4% of basic salary. So equals 3 out of 100. That means 3% times basic salary is in cell E2. Hit enter and we get our answer here, which is 21 21,000. Now remember we did subtotals, and if I drag downwards, the machine is going to return an answer here. Remember here it's in line with the subtotal of accounting, and I may not need this. Same applies to this. It's in line with finance. I may not need this because this is not someone's basic salary. This is just the subtotal I've just done. This, and this. Now it's okay. I'm going to just drag downwards up to the last person here, but I could just remove this because it's in line with this. I only need NSF of 2 people, that is Keith and Ham. I don't need this because this is in line with subtotals. I'm not doing NSSF of subtotals. I'm doing NSSF of individuals. So I'm going to click at this, then I delete. Same applies to this, I delete. Same applies to this, I delete. Same applies to this, I delete. Because these are not people along. These are subtotals. So I'm going to just click at this, then click at this while holding control, then this, and this. I go back to them, I give them the same color I awarded the subtotals to show that they are in line with subtotals. Now this is NSSF and it is 3%. 3%. Now this is pay as you earn. I can type 4%. So same applies to per year. I'm going to put equals 4 out of 100 times my basic pay. My basic pay is under E2. So I hit enter and I drag downwards to calculate people's pay as you earn. Now same applies to this. I should mind that subtotals are not calculated because subtotals are not people. So I'm going to click at this once again, delete, click at this, delete, click at this, delete, this delete, this delete. Click at it again while holding control, and then I put control. Then I just give it the same color to show that I'm in line with subtotals. There is no way I'm calculating the NSSF and PAYE of subtotals. I need to calculate them based on individuals. Okay, that is it with IV. I'm heading to V, that is calculate the net pay after those deductions. So I'm going to calculate net pay. Of course, net pay is got by getting someone's basic pay minus the taxes. So the basic pay is already here and the taxes are already 2 here. What I'm going to do is I'm going to use equals, then I click at this. This is E2. E2 is the basic pay. E2 minus tax 1, which is NSSF, minus tax 2, which is pay as you earn. Hit enter and drag downwards for the rest of the answers. Now that is it with net pay, and of course same applies to whatever color I've been applying because I can't calculate net pay here. This is in line with subtotals. I'm going to click at this, delete, click at this, delete, click at this, delete, click at this, delete, and then delete. Of course I maintain my color. Click at this while holding control to show that this line is for subtotals. So that is it with net pay as well. Well, if you don't want to use a formula, you can use a function to just get basic salary minus the 2 taxes. You can use something like equals, then sum, you open bracket and get E2 minus this, and then close. It can work for you as well. But if you want to use a formula, it was equals E2 minus this, and then hit enter. We get the answer 651,000. So that is it with the question of V, that is net pay. Next is let all your columns, that is part VI. It is let all your columns of basic salary, NSSF, PAYE, net pay be formatted in Ugandan currency with commas and 1 decimal place. So I'm going to format all the figures I'm having with Ugandan currency. So I'm going to highlight this, and then I just give this Ugandan currency first. Highlight, right click, select format cells, and choose currency. Scroll to UGX at the bottom. There's UGX at the bottom here, and then give it one decimal place, because in the question I'm told to give it one decimal place and a comma. So I'm going to give it one decimal place here, and then I hit OK. I can increase the size to see my values, and then a comma. The comma is already here. If you don't have a comma, you can use the home tab. The comma is here. And if you want to increase the decimal place or decrease, because they wanted 1, this is really 1 and a comma. And same applies to this. I can highlight this, then hold Control, highlight this, hold Control, highlight this. I'm not releasing Control, I'm highlighting the values. Then right click, select format cells, and then go to currency, choose UGX, decimal is 1, put 1 there, and then hit OK. And if you don't have a comma, like I said, make use of this. If you want to increase the decimals, make use of this. If you want to decrease the decimals, you make use of the group number under the home tab. So that is it with Ugandan currency, one decimal place and a comma. Next is part VII. Increase row height to 20 for the values below the titles. So we have the titles, and they want us to increase the row height to 20. They want us to neglect the titles, and then we only increase the rows under the title. So when we're increasing the row height, you highlight from the number. You don't highlight from this, because if you highlight from this, there is no way you're going to get a row height feature when you right click. So when you want to use a row height, you're going to just point at the number 2, and then hold left, drag downwards to the last row, right click, select row height, and give it 20. So I've typed 20 under row height. I click OK, so that my rows are now measured with 20. So that is a row height of my rows apart from the title. So next is put NSSF and PAE column headings at an orientation of 45 degrees. Now it's 45 degrees, it's not 450, because 450 that is not, I think, measured. It's not part of degrees. Degrees are going to run up to something like 360. So there's a slight error here. This is 45 degrees. So I'm going to put NSSF and PAE column headings to 45 degrees. So I'm going to highlight NSSF and PAE. Then after highlighting, I right click at it. I select format cells, and then under alignment, I put 45 degrees. Click OK, so that the two labels are given 45 degrees alignment. Okay, that is VIII. Then IX, to represent number 9, is insert date and time in cell A20. Actually in cell C20, not A20, sorry. In cell C20, we're supposed to put date and time. We identify cell C20 around here, then we put date and time. Of course, I'm going to type a label on top of it, date and time. And then in C20, I type a formula that can return a date, that is equals now, open bracket, close bracket, hit enter, and if I increase the size of this, I already have the dates. I can highlight the two, then I just put them in the center with a better color, of course, to give my work that that look? Okay, I can even bold. That is the date at C20. That's how we can put a date at C20. Okay, that is it. Next is part X. That is number 10. Insert a green thick border around your work with red grid lines. So if I want to insert a green thick border around my work with red grid lines inside, I want to just highlight my work, because normally in Excel our work is always having all borders normally. After highlighting my work, I can give it all borders to give it that look of Excel. Then I give it a green, and according to the question, it is a green thick border. A green thick border around my work with red grid lines inside. So if I want to give it a green thick border, I want to highlight once again, as in all the work. Then I select home, I look for borders. At the bottom there is more borders. So if I want to give it a green thick border outside, I want to click at outline, that means outside. Then I choose a color that is green. Green is here, but it's bold, thick. I choose a thick line. Then I click at outline again. You see in the preview here, green is already outline. So if it's not changing to green border thick at your computer, you can select green again and then click at the thick line, try to put it at the outline to see the preview changing. So I want green thick border outside and red grid lines inside. So if I want red grid lines, I click at inside, then I choose a red color because I want red inside. Then I click at inside once again, so that red is inside. But in the question, red is not supposed to be thick. I can choose the normal line of red like this one. Then I click at inside again, so that the line is captured. So it's green thick, red is not thick. So I click OK, and my work will have red grid lines inside and a green thick border. If it's kind of tricky, you can rewind the video and re-see what I'm doing that question. Next is copy your work and paste it to sheet 5. So if I want to copy my work and paste it to sheet 5, before I even copy, I need to rename sheets so that I'm not confused about which sheet is which. I want to double click at sheet 1, then I rename it original. Then after double clicking at sheet 1, renaming it original, I can go to the sheet I want. According to the question, they want me to take my work to sheet, is it sheet 5? Yes, to sheet 5. So I'm going to add a sheet for up to sheet 5, of course, and then I take my work there. And I can rename sheet 5 pasted work. Okay, back to the original. I'm going to highlight all my work. Highlight all the work. After highlighting all the work, I can right click and select copy. Copy is here. And then I click at the pasted work, the sheet 5 I've just renamed, and then I paste mine to paste in A1. If you don't paste in A1, if you paste anywhere else, your work could look funny. It's better to paste in A1 so that your work really starts at A1. You just have to increase the size of the columns to remove the hash symbol. Hash symbol means the content is small for the column or the cell. So increase on the column so that you no longer have the hash symbols in your work. So that is the work from the original, and this is the pasted work. Back to the original, I hit escape so that these symbols disappear. Next, select the name column and the net pay column to form a clustered column with a 3D visual effect chart, and save it as analysis. I'm required to draw a chart 3D with a visual effect using name and net pay, and then I save it as analysis at a given sheet. So I'm going to use sheet 2, double click at sheet 2, and then I rename it analysis because it's the sheet to have my graph. Back to the original, I'm going to highlight name. After highlighting name, I hold Ctrl and then I highlight basic salary. Now, according to my work, I'm required to use name and net pay, sorry, not basic salary. So I'm going to highlight name once again, hold Ctrl, highlight net pay. While highlighting, I should mind that there are some empty rows here at net pay. Same applies to this, and this. Now that may not affect my graph that much, so I want to just draw my 3D visual chart. So under insert, I'm going to select graphs here, and then I select 3D visual. It is really this one. In most of the videos I do about Excel, it is the graph I always use. I find it nice looking, and it is of course 3-dimension with a visual effect. So this is it. This is the graph. I can move it along. Before I even make changes to it, let me take it to the analysis sheet I've just renamed. So right click in the white space of the graph. This is the white space of the graph. Avoid right clicking in the bars because you may copy the wrong content. So right click in the white part of the graph, then select cut, so that your graph can be taken to the analysis sheet correctly. Like I said, when you're pasting in a new sheet, click at the cell A1 because it's the first cell in a spreadsheet. Right click at A1 and select paste. Okay, my work has been pasted at the analysis sheet. I'm going to just increase on the size of the graph, and then we just put some parts of the graph. If you're keen enough, my graph has some space at the end of some 2 people, because even in the original work I had space here, space here, space at each and every department. Remember, I did the subtotal as one of my first questions. That is why my graph is also having space at 2 people at least. But again, it's right because it has the bars really representing someone's net pay. For any graph you draw, it should have an appropriate title, it should have the x-axis, it should have the y-axis, and it should have a legend. I've always been talking about all those in my videos. So if I want to give my graph an appropriate title, I'm going to click at this. For some computers that don't display a title box, you need to click at your graph, then under either design or format, the newly created tabs at your screen. Because if I don't click at my graph, if I click in the sheet, my tabs could end at view or acrobat. Depends on the version you're using. But if you click in your graph, you're going to have newly created tabs. For example, mine is now chart design and format. Depends on your version you're using on your computer. You may have newly created tabs. So you just click at the newly created tabs and select a chart element and select title. Put a title above if you don't have it, but if you have it, just click at your title and delete the words you find there and type an appropriate title for your graph. Now mine is a 3D visual, graph representing workers name and net pay. Yes, I could just highlight my title. Of course, I give it that bold look and a color that is in line with whatever I'm doing. Maybe I could increase on the shape. So go to the, I can click here, then I click at the graph again. I can, anyway, the title could fit my graph. Let me put the x and y axis now. Click at the graph again, then go to the newly created tabs select add chart element and select axis titles, then select primary horizontal, remove this, click at it, then delete. Type what the axis is all about. It's about workers. Click at the graph again, add chart element. Like I said, depending on your version, if you click at your graph, you're going to have two newly created tabs. Select the suitable tab for your computer. So mine is design, then add chart elements here, axis titles, then vertical. Remove this and type what the vertical axis is all about. It's about net pay. Okay, click at the graph again, add chart element, put a legend on the right. Here it is. You can go back to add chart element, and then you select grid lines. You can put some grid lines in your work to give it that look of a graph. Now this is a complete graph that a learner is expected to do when performing an Excel question about graphs. Complete graph. So that is the part XII. It is pushing me to part XIII. Save your work in a folder on the desktop with the name original work. The folder should bear your all full names. So this question is just pushing a learner to save their work as original work, but the only trick here is it's teaching a learner how to save work appropriately and renaming it correctly. The trick is you can't rename work that is open. For example, if I just put my work down by use of the arrow without closing it, and then I try to rename it, it won't work. It won't work. So what am I supposed to do? I'm supposed to close my work first. Yes, save. I'm supposed to close my work first. Then I go to the folder I've been using for the number to rename it. Now this is my folder I'm using. I can right click at it, then I select show more options. For Windows 11, if it's Windows 10, you could just right click at it, select rename. Select rename, then I type what I want to rename. I want to rename it as original work. Okay, that is it with renaming, and back to the questions. That is XIV. So number XIV, Roman XIV, it is for work on sheet 1, use an auto filter function to filter out employees whose basic salary is above 650000. Save the work as above 650000 in your folder on the desktop and close the file. Now, according to the question here, I should filter employees who earn a basic salary above 650000 on a different sheet, and then after doing that, they want me to save whatever I filtered in my folder, and I rename it above 650000. Kind of tricky. Now if I want to filter people with a basic salary above 650000, I'm going to first take my work to the sheet 1 they are talking about. So I'm going to highlight this, then I copy, right click, copy, click at sheet 1, right click in A1, paste. I talked about the hashes. Just increase the columns so that the content can fit in your column. So I'm just increasing the columns so that my content can fit in the columns, so that I can now filter. So depends on what I want to filter. I want to filter basic salary above 650,000. So if I want to filter, I want to go back to the sheet I'm using to filter. Let me rename it first, double tap at it, and then I type above 650,000. Let me put a comma here. Yes, so I'm going to use this sheet to filter. I'm not going to use the original sheet. The original sheet should remain intact. So I'm going to hit escape so that the symbols for copy disappear. I go back to this sheet, the one I've just renamed above 650,000. Then I filter. So I'm going to just filter by clicking at employee code. Then I click at sort and then I select filter. Well, I'm going to get the symbols for filter and then I start doing the filter I want. So I want to use the basic salary column to filter. So I'm going to click at the symbol under the basic salary column so that I can filter. Click at it, then I only tick the values that are above 650,000. Before I filter, mind that in the first question I did, remember I did subtotals, and since I have subtotals at the sheet I want to use for filtering. Now I can decide to delete the rows having subtotals because I don't need accounting total, I don't need finance filter, I only need people's basic salaries when filtering. I can easily do that by right clicking at the number 4 here and then I select delete so that I delete the subtotal. I can also repeat the process here, right click at the subtotal for finance, select delete. Right click at the number 8 to represent the subtotal for human resource, select delete. I can right click at the row for management total, select delete, and then I can right click at the row for transportation total, select delete. I can even right click at the grand total, select delete. Now I'm deleting them because I don't need the totals for departments. I only need the basic salaries of people. That's why I'm deleting the subtotals. And be sure of the sheet you're using. That's why I first pasted my work at the sheet A1 and I even renamed it above 650,000. So I'm going to just filter by clicking at the icon under basic salary. Remember at the question I want to filter only those people above 650,000. So at my work I'm going to click at this, then I can click at select all so that they are all unchecked, then I tick only those values above 650,000. So it's what I'm ticking, and it seems it's only 3 values above 650,000. I want to click OK, then I get my people who are above 650,000 filtered. So this is it, and these are the people indeed that are above 650,000 as basic salary. They are even filtered right here at the sheet I've renamed above 650,000. According to the question, I don't stop there. I need to save my work as above 650,000 in my folder on the desktop and close the file. Now they just need me to go back to my folder and then I just create a new spreadsheet, new Excel, then I rename it above 650,000 and put a comma, me delete the comma. Then I just have to open this newly created spreadsheet so that I can paste people who earn a basic salary of above 650,000. So this is the newly created sheet. I'm going to just minimize it, then I go back to this because above 650,000 is here. I'm going to highlight, copy, right click, select copy, or you can use a Ctrl+C keyboard shortcut, paste in the newly created file, click here because this is the file I've just created, right click, select paste. So So that is it with that question, and this is a different file having people who earn above 650,000. So I can close it and I save, so that I go back to my original work. Okay, this is it with XIV. I'm going to the next question, that is XV. So mind that you should go back to the original work, because even in the next question they are pushing me to use the original work. The original work is let me hit escape first. The original work is right here, and the file I've just created is here. If I open it, it's displaying it's displaying only the people earn a basic salary of above 650,000, and I'm not supposed to tamper with this anymore. So I'm supposed to close it, so that I just go back to my original work. This is my original work with the sheets I've been using all over, like analysis, pasted work, above, then original. This is my original work. So next question is using the original work still on sheet 1 in cell A20. So they want me to use the original work in cell A20, and this is it. Cell A20 is right here. Yes, cell 20. Cell A20 is right here. So I'm going to just use it to do whatever I want. So using the original work still in sheet 1 in cell A20, use the countif function to calculate how many employees earn less than 500,000 as their basic salary. Bold the answer and save changes. So they want me to count employees who earn a basic salary of above 500,000, and they want me to bold whatever answer I'll get. Now back to my work. I want to count people who earn a basic salary of above 500,000. But remember, I first did subtotals, and I've been saying that there's a way how subtotals could affect your calculations, and if you're a beginner with Excel, it's better you do subtotals at a different sheet, so that you remain with the original work without subtotals. But I've just had subtotals, and I've been dealing with it for the entire tutorial I've done. So if you're doing the same number, you can also move along with me, so that you get to know how to deal with subtotals in spreadsheets. Now, if I'm counting people who are above 500,000 as basic salary, of course, these two people are above 500,000. Even this one is above 500,000, and it could be counted, yet this one is not a person. This one is just, Ctrl Z. This one is just a subtotal. This one can also be counted as above 500,000. It's not a person. This one is subtotal. Same applies to this. This one can be counted as above 500,000, yet this one is not a person. This one is a subtotal. So if I want to deal with that, I want to just do this. Well, I can take my work to a different sheet, then I count from there. Of course, after deleting what I don't need as subtotals. Now I'm going to just highlight my work like this, as in all the work, because if I count from this, for example, if I count above 500,000, and then here I put my formula, something like count if open bracket. Of course, I want to highlight all this. You see that I'm highlighting all this, including the cells I don't need, the cells having subtotals, which is wrong. The machine is going to return something different. Let me continue with it, and then in quotes I count. I think in the question they wanted less than 500,000. So if I'm counting, for example, let me use an example of greater than, just an example. Then I close, bracket. Now the machine is counting 12 people who are greater than 500,000, and it seems it's adding this, yet those are not people, those are subtotals. I hope you get this. Those are subtotals, these are not people, and the machine is already counting them. So if you're counting, mind that you did a subtotal and there's a way how it affected spreadsheet. Anyway, in the question they want us to only count people unless less than 500,000, and it seems we won't be affected because all the subtotals that could be counted, that could have been counted, are just above 500, and the machine won't count them. The machine is going to only count basic salary less than 500,000, and that's where I'm going to just get a chance of doing it from this sheet, because I'm counting basic salaries of less than 500,000. Of course, this one is less, it's not less than 500,000. Same applies to this, same applies to this, and same applies to the rest of these two subtotals. They are not less than 500,000, so they won't be counted. The machine is going to only count values less than 500,000, and it seems it is only this one, and I think these two. The answer could be 3. So I'm going to put less than 500,000. Okay, then I put my I put my function to count people who are receiving a basic salary of less than 500,000. So I'm going to just use a range. The range is from E2 to E15. Even if I go up to this, of course I'm sure the two are not less than 500,000, and so they won't be counted. So I can even go up to the bottom of the people's names. It's okay. Comma, then in quotes I type less 500,000, 1, 2, 3. Close the quotes and close the brackets. Hit enter and get 3. According to the question, they want me to bold the answer and save changes. I can highlight this and then I select bold. I give it that unique feature. Anyway, that is better. So it means the machine is counting only values that are less than 500,000, and indeed there are 3. It's this one, and this one. That's why for this number the subtotals have not affected me, because anyway they are above 500,000. They were not considered during my counting I've just made. Next, XVI, show all formulas used on sheet 3. So I need to display all the formulas I've used at sheet 3. So how do I do that? If I want to display whatever formula I've used, I highlight all my work so that I take it to sheet 3, highlight all the work, right click, select copy, and go to sheet 3, click at sheet 3, right click, select paste. I just increase the size to remove the hash symbols, and then I display the formula I've used. Okay, that is it. So at sheet 3, before I even display the formula, it is important to rename sheets. Double tap at sheet 3, I type all formulae used. Okay, so if I want to display all formulae used, I can just click at actually I can click at formulas tab, and then I click at show formulas, so that the machine can display whatever formulae I've used. So that is it. with whatever family I've used. If I scroll downwards, it's only displaying the family I've been using. Okay, then one of the last questions is insert your headers and footers as index number and name respectively on your work. So back to my work here, I'm going to do this from the original sheet. This is renamed original. You see, it is important to rename sheets because the more you have sheets, yet you've renamed them, work will be easy. But if you don't rename sheets, the moment you add more sheets, you could get confused on which content is on which sheet. For example, this is the original sheet with my original work. This is above 650,000. This is pasted work. This is analysis with my graph. This is all families used. So this is original, and I want to put headers and footers according to the question. The header is the header and footers, that is index number and name. So header is going to have index number and footer is going to have name. So I'm going to click at insert, then I look for headers and footers under text here. There's header and footer. I scroll to the top, minding the original work. I'm at the original work. I scroll to the top, okay, and then I click at header. I put my number, maybe it is 001, and then I can click at go to footer. I type my name at footer. I just scroll to footer, scroll to the bottom, me click at insert once again, then I click at text, then I click at header footer. Header is there, then I click at footer, pushes me down so that I can type my footer. I'm looking for the section where I can type my footer. Let me just try to increase on the size of this. Okay, back to insert, then header footer. This one is there, then footer. I'm looking for the footer section, that's why I'm trying to scroll at the bottom of my work. And if your work is kind of disorganized like mine, that's always done with Excel. When you put headers and footers, it's better use the section here. You can click at it so that your work is at least kind of organized. Keep on scrolling up to the footer section so that you can type your footer there. Let me go back to insert, then text, header, footer. I click at footer here, go to footer, then I scroll to footer, add footer. I type my name, Marvin Gasozi. So the footer is also there and the header is as well on top, but my work is kind of disorganized. I said if your work is kind of disorganized, you can click at this line so that you can get your work at least kind of organized. And since the labels are funny, I can point at this. I increase the row to have something better. Okay. Then lastly, it's a printout of my work, and I should put it in landscape. So I always talk of this: when you're printing your Excel, you've done mind to print whichever sheet you've done. According to the video, I have done my work on a lot of sheets. So whenever I'm printing, I'm going to just click at a sheet like original. I put my work in landscape because the question wanted me to do that. Click at page layout. This is the last question, that put your work in landscape and make a printout. So I want to click at page layout, then orientation, select landscape so that my work is in landscape. I can even try to reduce on the columns so that my work can fit at, it can fit at least the first sheet. Phone numbers, I'm trying to reduce on the size so that I can have my my work properly printed. Same applies to age. I can increase the age. Okay, this is better. My work is on the sheet I really need. So if I want to print my work, I'm going to just command the Control P, or I can click at File, then I select Print. In Excel, whenever you're printing, mind what you see in the preview. You can't just print something like this because this is not my work. This is just halfway of my work. So I want to select, instead of no scaling, I fit sheet on one page so that my work is viewed on one page. Or I can select fit all columns on one page. If all columns doesn't work for you, you can fit sheet on one page, and then of course select a printer, and the printers here. Seems this could be my printer, and the number of copies you want. Of course I want one, and my work is already in landscape. I just command a print and my sheet is going to be printed. Of course, that is going to apply to all the other sheets. If I'm printing all other sheets of Excel, I'm going to just go and tap on a sheet I want to print. For example, I've just a moment. Seems my Excel is kind of getting slow with the print I was trying to make at the unavailable printer. But let me click at this, close this, original work. Okay, I was saying, if you want to print all the work you've been doing, for example, pasted, this was original, you command a print, then you go to pasted. Maybe you want to print this work, you command another print under File, check the no scaling, fit sheet on one page, and then you select a printer, and then you print. Now you print all the work on different sheets. Even the graph, try to extend the graph around here at cell A1, command a print under File, and mind the preview before printing. If you're not seeing the graph at the preview, or if you see the graph halfway, try to change the positioning of the graph. Put the graph at least cell A1. Don't let your graph be somewhere here. Put your graph at cell A1 or at the start of the sheet, and command a print so that your graph cannot be printed on one paper like such. So etc. That is it with all the sheets you can print with Excel. Okay, this drives me to the end of the video. The question I've been doing is Excel, and it's been running from part 1, and I've done it up to the very last part, that is XVIII. So if you need to really practice Excel, watch these videos and move along with me. I've said I've done some Excel numbers already for advanced level at my YouTube channel. I'm going to put a link of the Excel numbers I've done at my channel. For example, I'll put a link at the Excel number I did here as my 83rd tutorial, and if I do Access, I also put links for Access. Not forgetting other videos at my channel about Senior 4 practical items, like this video I did 5 months ago, like this video I also did some 6 months ago, this one here, many videos are here. You can come check my channel out. Not forgetting to thank you for the subscriptions, for the views at my channel, etc. That has been Excel for advanced level. I wish you well for the candidates that are going to do exams 2025. Keep on watching the videos, more and more to come about S4 and S6. Even in the videos out there, if you need to study Excel, these videos are so important. Excel for organizations, Excel for schools, Excel for companies, etc. Thanks for the views. Thanks for watching the video. From me at one, up to the last minute of me recording. Bye bye.